Whoa, Nelly. Whoa. Hey. Hey, yo. It's Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumored Innuendo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, brassringmedia.com, and scoops.com. But I'm here by myself. Robert is out on assignment today, so you're stuck with me yet again. And I have some fun things to talk about today, including Raw, which I have no idea what the card is right now, but I will pull that up in time. And we're going to talk a little bit of SmackDown, which I just got done watching. So, and any other wrestling news that hits the dirt sheets. If you caught last Friday, I was by myself again, but I went nearly an hour talking to all of you, and it was a lot of fun. I had a blast doing it, and got to give my thoughts on wrestling media, the negativity on all that, and what coincides with that malarkey, and just a lot of cool, interesting topics. Did want to take a moment to send my prayers and love to Rebel. If you haven't heard, Rebel is battling lymphoma, a sign of lung cancer, and she really opened up about what her situation is and what she's been going through. So, just want to send out all the love and prayers to her and wish her the best in her journey, and just know that we all love her, and she's very, very much a strong person, and you can see that in the video too. So just wanted to send my thoughts and love and prayers to her. So I wanted to start it off with that, but let's say hi to some folks in the chat here. We got Triple E saying, what's up? What's up, Triple E? We got Jeff Henninger saying, woo, woo, woo. You know it, R&I. And Robert called it. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I was speculating, not Zack Ryder. I was speculating like maybe Santana or Joe Hendry, as we were talking about as well. But we'll talk about Mr. Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder, making his return to WWE. Triple E again said, what's up? He said it twice, so twice is nice. Willie Thornbrew says, I'm grateful that Eric Bischoff's book is now available on Audible. Oh, interesting. I'll have to take a look into that. You know what? I need to get Bischoff's book, actually. I have a whole bunch of wrestling books. Granted, I haven't read a whole lot of them, but I do have them. And what I do enjoy doing is getting them signed by the wrestler, the talent that it is. But I have a whole collection back here behind me. I'm pretty happy with it, too. Man, I just got to start cracking them open, though. That's the issue. Wrestling Old Head says, R&I is infrared, and all other wrestling shows are inferior, maybe, and all the wrestling shows are Roy G. I don't get that. I'm sorry, wrestling. Dang it, I don't get this reference. I probably butchered what you just said. DB Music, never here for the live show. Stoked, awesome. Well, you're just getting half of what a live show is. Usually, Robert's here with me, and he gets to express his thoughts, obviously. So you're only hearing one side of the story when it comes to this one today. Thigh slaps and steroids. Good morning, R&I in chat. Hope everyone had a great week. Thank you for tuning in, man. Hope you had a great week too. Have a great week too, and had a great weekend as well. Dre Owens chimes in. Hello, R&I. Get well, Rebel. Is AEW trying to have Mercedes be 15-time champion so she has more than Charlotte Flair? Well, I mean, I don't think that counts. It doesn't count because all those titles aren't AEW based, and they don't surround all that. So yeah, I don't think, I mean, if it is, it's kind of like, yeah, not really. Doesn't count. Wrestling Old Ed says Robert is the wrestling oracle, batting over 500 with correct predictions. How about that? Yeah, Robert's pretty darn good. He knows what he's doing. It's funny because on RVD, not this past week, but the week before, the episode before, actually, I think we recorded last Monday, the episode before, Rob was saying like how he finds it fascinating that people can lay out like a wrestling formula like really, really quickly. And it made me think of Robert immediately. And I brought Robert's name up actually on the show. And I was like, my one co-host for Rumor and Innuendo, I was like, he was a former WWE writer and he's really good at that stuff. So Robert is, boy, I give him a lot of credit on here. I wonder if he speaks nice to me. I know he doesn't speak very, very, very nice about me on working stiff sometimes, but that all goes with the territory. It's comedy. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm covering everybody. Okay, we got all the shout outs in here. Cammy thinks Joe Hendry's tonight, which would be interesting. Triple E says Marcus D'Angelo is the surprise entry tonight for the Cena tournament. Boy, if Marcus showed up, wow, that would be something. Madison Square Garden, nonetheless. I could see. I'm kind of with Cammy that it's Joe Hendry, um, against Solo Sikoa. So, like, you kind of think that like John likes Joe Hendry, and so I would think that maybe he would want him in the tournament. Um, I can see definitely an outcome where Hendry gets close but doesn't make the finals, or gets in the finals and has to face like Gunther. I think somebody said last weekend, which I thought was really a kind of a nice finals to have, babyface versus a heel, and then you have Gunther win and take away Joe's opportunity there that he's been kind of wanting to do. Devin says to The Rock, "Wow, that would be wow." The Rock versus Solo too, and in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I just don't think it's gonna happen. Tony Gong says Kurt Hawkins. uh, let's see. All right, I guess we'll get to it here. Let's talk a little bit of SmackDown. I thought it was a pretty fun show. Um, Cody being a presence on the show feels like elevates the show, I think, all the time. Whether he's on Raw or SmackDown, Cody just got that. And as Paul Heyman said, the golden goose, which is very appropriate. I mean, like not Cena, Cody, Freudian slip, is just, he's good. He's got that star power. And it's a star power that been long time coming. Like Roman Reigns has that aura too about him, but obviously he's fit such a heel role in it that that's what he was really known greatly for. Like Roman has almost, if I were to peel back and go back to the Attitude Era, I mean, like Triple H as a heel, like a top heel, like it, particularly when it came to like feuding with The Rock and the 2000s era Triple H and stuff like that as the corporation's main guy. Roman gives off those kind of vibes to me. And so, but like, you think about how long we've been waiting for a really great baby face to show back up. And Cena was that for a good amount of time. And obviously he was polarizing, but I mean, like the kids loved him and everything. But like Cody kind of is riding a different momentum when it comes to that people, I think, in today's times have been searching for that Boy Scout kind of baby face, because everybody's trying to be the cool baby face or the cool anti-hero kind of thing. Everybody was trying to find that vibe, and Punk kind of, supplemented that for a good amount of time, but obviously he was been gone for 10 years. And so Cody picking up that mantle in the realm that he is in, he just feels like a really big deal. So him being on the show, I just think was great. Good stuff. We did have the confrontation when it came to Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and and Alexa not wanting to be a part of the team with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. And I think it's fine. I think after reflection and kind of thinking about it, does it really, was it the best decision to take the titles off of Charlotte and Alexa? Maybe not so quick, but I do think you can always revisit it. And maybe there's more of a story coming forth when it comes to this. They lost the titles and now Charlotte's kind of like, I don't know if I want to be a part of this thing, when it comes to Rhea and Asuka and more games. And so we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. I'll touch upon a couple of the matches there. I do like the ongoing stuff when it comes to Fraxium, DIY, and then Ilya Dragunov. Man, I'll keep singing the praise of Ilya Dragunov's finisher. The H-bomb is just so damn cool. My favorite finisher today in today's world. Absolutely. Because it's simple. You can basically pull it out of nowhere. He's a smaller dude, but like he's capable of hitting that on anybody. So that's what you want. And like that torpedo he does beforehand as the setup move, just a great 1-2 punch. It's kind of funny. You think about like somebody like Goldberg who had the spear and then the jackhammer. two completely different styles of wrestlers and sizes of wrestlers. But that's kind of Ilya Dragunov's bread and butter right there. If I were him, I would completely embrace that, and I would very make certain nobody ever kicks out of the H bomb again until it really, really, really means something. Because what I found very disappointing is that move looks so devastating, but before Dragunov returned, people kicked out of that H bomb, and I was like, no, you don't do that. It's just like that's what I liked about Baron Corbin's End of Days. Nobody ever kicked out of it. Obviously, Kenny Omega's One Winged Angel. Nobody kicks out of that. So like uh, the Nightmare Pendulum that Alexander Hammerstone does, nobody kicks out of that. Like very few people protected their finishers that much, and so I think Dragunov really needs to ride that momentum. I enjoy Sami Zayn teaming up with the Motor City Machine Guns. And oh my gosh, who else came out there? Oh, Ray Phoenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. I think this sets up for a traditional Survivor Series match, and I hope that's what they end up doing here because I think there's just value in keeping that Survivor Series tradition. And Robert made a very compelling argument as to why they don't do that anymore. And I think that's fair, and I think it's a really, really good point that I never even considered. The fact that everybody teams with everybody now, so it's just like that kind of team up doesn't feel special. I will push back in a minor way and say that the Survivor Series format is something very special because it's elimination, and I think that adds plenty of cool storytelling elements that you can do, almost akin to a mini Royal Rumble. Somebody gets eliminated, disqualification, uh, things happen. And I think that is a really neat aspect of the traditional Survivor Series match. So I hope that's the direction they're taking with this, with the MFTs. Is that what they're still called? Are they still called the MFTs? And then Sammy's team. What else did I want to cover? Oh, obviously, hey, let's talk about it. LA Knight taking on woo 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 Zack Ryder, aka Matt Cardona. Cool to see Matt back in the WWE, even if it may be just for this one off. But he is, I think what I heard is he signed a merchandise deal with them strictly. So they're selling Zack Ryder merchandise, which, hey, that's awesome. And I think I really like Matt Cardona. I like him a lot. I've interviewed him a couple times. He's given me flack. He gave me flack for the conversation or the live stream I did with Magnum TA and Greg Gagne, and I put him on, or I put his questions up on there regarding the Powertown figures and stuff. But I always like Matt, and I always like what he represents for pro wrestlers and anybody in the pro wrestling world. That goes for people like me or content creators. He is the pinnacle. He is the standard bearer for content creation in pro wrestling. And he has been that way, my gosh, since what? Since he started like 2011, like doing this, that hustle of Long Island IZ and more so and more so. And like even now, he implores talent to never quit. Never, if you quit, then you're not going to make it. He was like, if that's the mantra you have to have if you want to survive and aim to flourish in this business. And that just doesn't speak to wrestling talent. That speaks to the content creators and anybody that makes things to try to get their name out there in this wild world of professional wrestling. So like I want to give Matt a big shout out for that. And like, I was really happy to see him back in that because he looks great. He wrestles the style I really enjoy, where it's just like simplified but impactful. And he's got good charisma. Just his body language. People can learn about Matt, like what to do in the ring with his facials, everything to that. I think was great. Like him squaring off against LA Knight and kind of like, hey, come on. Like I like that little stuff that goes with it, and I think Matt does a wonderful job at that. And just the hustle that he does is just really top notch. Love his innovativeness, not just when it comes to like his own persona, but what he does from a marketing standpoint. It's just that's the guy you need to follow. The blueprint is laid out there right for you, and he is wanting everybody that wants to flourish in pro wrestling to follow that blueprint in their own realm and fashion. So just great stuff. Loved seeing him on there. Want to also give a shout out to Nick Aldis. I like Nick Aldis a lot as this authority figure on SmackDown. I think he's just like cool, collected, and like deliberate. Like, he's a step ahead even of the villains. So, well, in certain ways, because actually Paul Heyman got the better of him this week. But I do think, it's that push and pull of these engaging, smart people. Like, so all this SmackDown GM, he's smart about what his job is, but Paul Heyman's also smart about what his job is. So these two kind of combating one another, I think, is a fascinating, understated storyline in this, even if it's just for this war game situation. But I think him kind of being in the middle of it all has been great. And maybe this is an opportunity to see Nick get in the ring, maybe against Drew, which would be cool. I would really like that. I mean, Aldis is obviously a former NWA world champion. He really put NWA on the map, like he did, undoubtedly. Like he was that traveling champion. He reflected that. He went worldwide with that title. And then obviously you think about his match with Cody, that series of matches he had with Cody before AEW took off. And, those two matches that were great. It was great. Who wouldn't want a rubber match between those two? I just think it's fun. And I wanted to make mention of that as well before I carry on here. Good golly, my contact is acting funky, so it's hard for me to kind of see. Some fun stuff in the chat here. Jeff Henninger says it's going to be Hornswoggle tonight. Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, yeah, Evans. That's right. That'll be great. Wrestling Old as said, gives Gunther and Evans 18 minutes. It'll be a classic. Will Gunther dribble, bouncy all over the ring? Man, it's hard for me to see right now. My freaking contact's acting weird. Oh, look at all Jake's really shouting out NXT. NXT is my favorite show anymore. Love the young OG. So cool stuff. So he's pretty excited about that. Rico Constantino. Man, how about that? He also says the solo opponent will be someone from Cena's past. It's clearly David Otunga. Clearly, absolutely. What about Alex Riley? How about that? Boy, you guys are making some real fun predictions here. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything really in particular else I want to talk about on Smack. Thought it was a good show. Set some things up. Yeah. SmackDown's a fun show. I enjoy it. I enjoy just the whole dynamic of it. Corey Graves is great on commentary. I think he adds further context, like some aspect that in the match with Ryder and Knight. I think, Cole immediately comes out, and I don't know how much he just said this off the cuff, but he was like, this has to be Zack Ryder's second greatest moment in WWE. And then Corey Graves was like, well, what's the first? And he's like, when he beat me. When he beat me. And it kind of like indirectly was not, I don't think, put Ryder in the right light for this. And then Corey kind of goes back and speaks about Matt Cardona's accolades outside of WWE, mentioning death matches and him being well-traveled and all around the world and stuff like that. So it put Zack in the right light again. And so I appreciate what Corey Graves, his attention to detail when it comes to giving further context, adding nuance. He's my favorite commentator, I think, out of anybody right now, is Corey Graves. Shout out to Pittsburgh. He is. He really is. I think, and that's across the board, I think, when it comes to how complete a commentator is. On AEW and WWE, Corey Graves is my number one right now. Let's continue on here. Oh, Kevin Keller. Have me do a run-in on this spot. Kev, I would today. I am kind of on a tight time frame, though, because my shoot job work schedule has changed. So, hold on. I'll send you a quick invite here. Let me see if I can do that. We'll get Kev on here. We'll get Kev on here real quick. Bear with me, folks. We'll get Kev, and while Kev aims to join, we have a new sponsor I got to put over big time because I like them a lot, and I'm excited to try their I'll tell you about it in a sec. Wait with bated breath, everyone, because it's gonna get good. It's gonna get real good. Who do you guys really want to see? Do you want to see Joe Hendry tonight? Would you want to see Santana? Would you want to see somebody completely unexpected? Let me know. Here, I'm sending Kev the link right now. Kev, I'm sending you this on Facebook. If my computer cooperates here. What the freak is going on with Facebook? Hopefully I'm not frozen on here. Copy here. Live streaming ain't nothing like it. Okay, here we go. Kev, I just sent you the link on Facebook if you're tuning in. But I'll have to wrap relatively soon just because I got to accommodate for work. But I would love to have Kev on here. What is bated breath? Isn't that the term? Bated breath? Like anticipation. Like the Carly Simon song. All right, Kev is here. Boom. Kev, what's up?
What's going on, buddy? How are we doing?
Good. How are you doing? How are you doing? Happy weekend.
I'm well. Busy with the different stuff. We got a big Monday Night Raw tonight, don't we?
We do got a big Monday Night Raw. It's Madison Square Garden. John Cena. Goodness gracious. Javon Evans is taking on Gunther. We got a lot happening. I'm seeing if I still have
I had a busy wrestling weekend. Got to see WWE NXT live this
Ooh,
past weekend.
Talk about that. How was that experience?
Very unique because they ran the Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom, which is a ballroom. It is a traditional, like, old world ballroom when they perform there. Hand painted ceiling, disco ball, all that stuff. Oh. And I'm used to being there for Q101, the radio station I work with in Chicago. We have Twisted coming up. Q101 Twisted, AJR, Sublime, Soul Coughing, Third Eye Blind, bunch of different bands. Q101.com. Go there, buy tickets. All right, so that's coming up December. But seeing wrestling in there was pretty cool because AEW ran there as well. And, their ticket sales, middling. So how do you play to the actual what you can draw? NXT is not as big as Raw or SmackDown, but it can certainly tour more. And this was a unique thing because it was a live event. It's not televised. Yeah. So the tickets, though, were scarce. They sold very quickly. And I bought tickets the week of. Everyone's talking about ticket prices in WWE. I bought a ticket the week of $50. General admission.
Pretty good seats.
In today's like compared to Raw and SmackDown, that's a really good ticket price. Very good show. Fatal 4-Way. Ricky Saints with JD McDonough of Raw. So they're putting in some main roster talent against that young OG, Javon Evans, who's one of the most impressive young wrestlers I've ever seen. Everything that everybody says about him is completely true. He is a guy who is just, and he's not, it's not like you're just seeing someone who's so excitingly, undeniably good. And he's 20 years old. That's the one.
He's only 20,
someone told me he was 20. I thought he was like 25, 26. I was like,
that's
he's
crazy.
20 years old. So I'm this old. He's going to be wrestling if he stays healthy, and he stays in the game. This is the guy who's going to have a very long career, and can evolve and do all these different things. Also in that match was Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller did the trolling of trolls. He came out to CM Punk's music with a hood on.
Wow,
and
that's
flipped it off in Chicago.
In Chicago,
yeah. Oh God, he got nuclear heat. And Ricky Saints gave him a GTS at the end of the night to send him home for his pleasures.
Great. That's great.
Javon Evans did a John Cena tribute. It was really well the show. I know AEW ran there. Everyone's like, they're just copying AEW. If they are, I don't care. What's the difference? It's benefiting the fans.
It doesn't matter.
People are still falling for that tribalism stuff, but very fun, interesting show. A lot of good young talent. I wouldn't call it the best show I've ever seen live, but certainly a good representation of where NXT has certainly recalibrated itself. And it's not trying to be the top wrestling show. It's trying to be the show that gives you the next guys coming up. I
think that's a fair way to look at it too, because
it's fair. It's fair. I'm not going to call it the best wrestling show out there right now, but you cannot say that WWE isn't getting a return on their investment with talent coming up from NXT right now.
Well, the nice thing too is you're still getting a little bit of both as a fan. You're getting newer talent on the rise, and like you're dog-earing that, but in tandem too, you're getting like the implementation of WWE talents and TNA talents.
Sheamus was on the show.
Yeah.
Sheamus was on the show, and
so
I
you're
didn't get to
getting
see that. I got stuck on a train delay, but he opened the show with
wow.
Trick Williams, and I understand it was a really good match. And he got a really great reaction.
So there you go. It's just like they're making an effort to make it feel special and feel unique.
Yeah.
And, but there's somebody in the chat here, Alt Jake said it's his favorite wrestling program right now. Is
Also, if I'm
NXT.
WWE, I would, when you have so many fans angry about ticket prices, make NXT the affordable show.
Right.
Make it like, if you're going to do the scarcity thing, which is like the strategy, get rid of house shows, then that creates more demand for people to travel to bigger cities to go see the Raw, the SmackDowns, and the premium live events and the Saturday night's main events, which has turned out to work for WWE. Maybe fans don't like hearing that, but that is the applied strategy right now. As compared to a few years ago, right out of the pandemic, they're like, let's get as many house shows as we can because fans just want to see it, which was true. There was a heightened demand just because out of the pandemic, people wanted to see live entertainment in general. But now those ticket prices are still there. Inflation is higher. But if you come to me and you say, we're going to run smaller venues and we're going to give you NXT, and it's going to have some names from Raw and SmackDown on it. And that's our, I don't want to say value menu, you know what I mean? But if you turn into that, I'm like, it's kind of cool. Because you're getting hardcore wrestling fans. You're getting them that want to see talent that's coming up, but they want to see a couple of names they already know. And that's what the show was. Also, I was alarmed. There was a lot of families there. It's still dudes, still heavy on the dudes, but in a unique venue too, a really, really special venue to run wrestling at. AEW really broke in something special here. I loved it. More residencies too. That'd be cool if they did that. Plus, I'm in Chicago. I'm spoiled. We're getting Elimination Chamber. Elimination in February. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, I mean, I think NXT is doing a lot of right things here. I don't get to watch the product very, very often, but everything I'm hearing about is just good, and it's just like they're doing a lot of the right things. So I got to make sure to start tuning in a little bit more with that. But
there's some weaker spots with it. There's some stuff that feels like learning wrestling. But I guess that kind of is what you want. But it's odd sometimes to see that in television. If you watch the show, and I know some people have seen it, but I've watched the first season of the show LFG, which felt like Tough Enough.
Right. But here, talk about that a little bit, Kev. I got to plug in my computer real quick. So boom.
Yeah, that's all right. Watching some of the LFG people, I got to see some of the LFG people on the show in this circumstance. One of them was Shiloh Hill. So you get to see this odd mixture of like 4-time world champions, Sheamus, Ricky Saints, absolutely, well over AEW pickup guy, now the NXT champion. You get to see this mixture of Mariah May, Blake Monroe now. She was featured on the show. And then Shiloh Hill, this guy who's very much a prospect they're developing, that they put on a reality show. And he comes out and does the cutoff promo, and Ethan Page. And you have him in there with Ethan. You have this. I know it's a startup show. It's a developmental brand, but you had a lot of that here. But tonight, Madison Square Garden, you've put a bunch of names out there.
Yes.
This is the world's most famous arena. I understand Adam Pearce has put it out there because Nick Aldis got to tease his surprise, and that was Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. We know it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Can I ask the question? And if I sound out of place here, who's the wildest possible name they could get to come out here that gets that pop, that revels in the opportunity? Also, John Cena, I think, is going to wrestle tonight. He's doing these kind of like pop-up matches. I don't think he's coming to Madison Square Garden not to get physical. If he doesn't wrestle, he's getting physical with somebody.
For sure. Well, Robert made the prediction that it's going to be Cena teaming up with CM Punk against maybe Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, just because you're trying to hit some of the notes that maybe you might not get to before Cena's obviously career ends. So that's the prediction.
And if you want to get Cena in the War Games match, which I don't know if that's doable, you know what I mean?
I think it's doable. I think it is, but
it's a multi-man match. He doesn't have to do a ton. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to do a ton of things in the match, and he doesn't have to do a ton of things in the match for the match itself to be very good. You know, like it's a Rumble type situation. You know,
but to get to your point, that's tough, Kev.
Well, it's tough because you have Madison Square Garden It's sold out by hardcore fans. The hardest of the hardcore are buying tickets for this. If you're going to run that arena, it's very, very expensive. It's the world's largest media market. So you have more eyeballs on this from both the diehard fan, the casual fan, and the media business world. This is always a show that's kind of like a live upfront for WWE. And they have already secured some media deals. Now I think you're looking at integrated branding and all these different things that they would want to do at other shows. And that's something you can sell in New York City. And how do you sell live integrated branding into shows? Massive, huge pops. And I think we're going to get one or two. You're either going to get one big one with John Cena in the ring with somebody that you didn't expect him to get. And you also have the Last Time Is Now tournament where Solo Sikoa is going to take on a mystery opponent. And
I mean, probably
I think there's more opportunities there for Solo to eat a pin from somebody who's going to
probably the biggest name that you might like would echo what you're saying is maybe The Rock, but that's the only person, right?
What about Roman?
Would it be that big? I mean, he would get a huge pop, to your point. Yeah. I don't think, obviously, he's made so many returns, though, in the past 2 months where it's just like, you're going to do that one again? Like, I think people would, they would be, I think that would be very intriguing. Roman could be a really good possibility, actually, from.
What is the availability of Chris Jericho? Is it even remotely possible?
I don't think it is. Like, because isn't his contract up at the turn of the year? Or am I wrong on that?
There's been a lot of mixed reports about that.
There has been. Chris is always great at that, though. Just creating like this. Hey, what's behind this? Who is it? And like even that like kind of dog whistle where he's saying like TNA felt like the second biggest wrestling company, like with Bound for Glory and stuff like that. It's just like,
dude, I know so many people are like, if you're AEW, you got to be so pissed that he said that, right? You got to be, if not pissed, you got to be like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, because no matter what, you have Jericho at 54. You can still do a whole lot of different things, but are you going to bring him in? He's going to work a full schedule? No.
And he can look good. He looks, when he gets in shape, he looks great.
Yeah. And also posting some pictures, looking good for a 54-year-old man.
It's his birthday. He always posts the birthday selfie. And so another name, Kev, would be.
But is today his birthday?
Oh no, it was a couple days ago, or like last week his birthday. So
what would the reaction be if Chris Jericho came out?
Oh man, that would be very, very loud, very loud.
Like a huge reaction.
Oh, yes,
that would be significant.
MSG too. His dad played there with the Rangers.
That's another thing, But Jericho, in the limited conversations I've had to do formal interviews with him, he's very calculated about these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Very, very calculated.
He's one of the most calculated I've ever seen in the business.
Everyone's like, oh, if they get him back in WWE, it's going to be the Rumble. He's already done it. So he doesn't want to do a return he's done before. If you have him do a return that no one sees coming.
I would have to say, Kev, whoever is Solo's surprise opponent, I think needs to win against Solo.
Yes,
because
Solo's not in a position right now. Solo, I know that people saying the MSTs, they feel just like a goon squad with face paint. It doesn't like.
Solo has enough charisma and ability.
Sammy comes out, interferes, costs the match. Guy comes out, wins.
But I think it removes the novelty of having people surprise opponents if you don't have at least one of them advance in the tournament.
Yeah,
like it just
if it's another name that people floated out there who's signed to WWE but has cooled off a whole lot since the beginning part of this year, where people were saying he was one of the top 5 most talked about men in wrestling, Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
if Joe Hendry can be the guy who comes out and gets a real wow, Joe Hendry's in this match. It'll certainly reinvigorate some interest in him, get the WWE fans that have heard of him but have not seen it, but knew he came out at the Rumble, knew he came out at Mania. Now he comes out at MSG, which is a Mania unto itself, regionally in a big area for WWE. I think that a good bet is Joe Hendry. On the wildest one would be Chris Jericho.
That would be pretty wild. I'll throw RVD's name in the ring too. Just
hell yeah, dude! Come on, man. If RVD came out, that place would pop. Boom, they would lose it.
They would go nuts.
Well, I mean, you got to think of those people. They've already done a lot of the people that have history with Cena,
Sure.
and he alluded to the people outside of the company. They got to have a name that people aren't expecting. There's names that have been in there that I was surprised by too.
Yeah, I would think it's somebody like, I'm really. Devin suggests what would you feel about Randy Orton? I know they had a match.
Well, I mean, the thing is with Cena and the farewell tour, he's kind of had the moment with Randy. He had it in St. Louis. They got to sell out an arena together. The match was the match. And it had a bunch of shenanigans in it. Everyone remembers those Orton Cena matches, I think, in a level of fondness that is a little bit too elevated because so many of them were overcooked and overbooked. And I thought that was kind of like the defining moment when I knew the Cena heel turn wasn't going to keep going much longer. Right. But the highlight of his heel turn was the stuff he did with Punk, despite it being in Saudi Arabia and all the different things that people have issues with it. The promos they did were perfect. They played on their history perfectly. Everything about Cena's farewell tour should be playing on nostalgia and his past and him being this generational wrestler. And how you have Dominic Mysterio. That was brilliant. I thought that last week's Raw was brilliant. Dominic felt like he did not feel like any less of a superstar losing that match. When you have a guy who doesn't feel less than, he felt more than. And he lost.
Yes.
And he was a shiz heel trying, and they did the tribute to Eddie. It was perfectly worked. You know what I mean? He did. Everyone talks about Dominic not being an athlete. He doesn't do that. He looked perfect. He looked perfect in that match. I look forward to maybe Dominic gets involved. I know some people thought Cena and Dominic or Cena and Dom would tangle at Survivor Series. I wonder what Cena's going to do at Survivor Series,
Yeah. There's options. I mean, there's, I could say I could see him taking part in the War Games, but who knows? Who knows what
War Games.
Devin suggests is Shane O'Mac, Kev. Shane O'Mac.
Shane O'Mac had some nice things to say about WWE last time he was on camera with TMZ. Mm-hmm. I know he did the meeting with AEW and he met Tony Khan and he just stirred the pot and kicked the can. But he basically said, "No, my family's company is WWE. I'm not gonna challenge that." Okay. But Shane O'Mac would be a wild one and would get a big reaction. My thing is, if you're running MSG, you want a nuclear pop.
Yeah, absolutely do. Especially and to ride off the momentum of last week. Because honestly, Kev, I thought that segment in tandem with that match was like an all-time Raw moment. It's like going to be in the history books of Raw when they do like the 50th anniversary or whatever it may be, and so I think, if they're going to MSG and this is Cena's last show, you're praising him as
it's the last Raw you have him on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and NBC Universal is really going to get these last few TV hits with him on USA Network. They're going to want to focus on making those feel like a bigger deal. So, I mean, Netflix has to get their piece of the Cena nostalgia, and they're marketing it their own way. And they've put their own, I've seen their own ads for this. So they're marketing just this show. This is more than just a normal Monday Night Raw. I think that's a fair estimation. Plus, 100%. We don't know if these shows are like 2 hours or 3 hours. I think this could be like an over 2.5 hour show.
Yeah, right. It's kind of, that would be interesting if they decided to go that route.
I'm not excited about a 3 hour SmackDown.
No, oh my God, no. Ugh. That's the thing, Kev. I don't know if you were on here. No, you probably weren't. I just said how much I'm really enjoying SmackDown right now. Like, it's kind of just
really. I've heard a lot of people trashing the show recently. I enjoyed this past week's SmackDown. The chunk of it that I saw, I didn't get to see all of it because I had work to do over the weekend. But I got to catch some of it on Saturday morning. I was gigging on Friday night. But I did. I had to pull up my phone and pull up the app and check out what was going on with Zack Ryder and pull. I literally got it in the middle of the match. I was like, the Zack Ryder in the ring, it was so cool. And he got a great pop. So I mean, some of it's good. Some of the thing is, like, I just think people have this, this from covering wrestling, is there's this like, it sucks or it's the best. There's no like everything. It can't just be a circus and land in the middle. It has to be one extreme or the other.
Overall, I just think SmackDown's an overall consistently better show than Raw. Raw has its bigger moments. I feel like you get like more people talk about Raw, like moments on Raw.
The Dominic Cena thing from last week.
Yeah, then you get on Smack. But overall, I think SmackDown is just a steady Eddie, consistent kind of show where it's just like you're getting good stuff. There's stuff that could be obviously on both products that could be better, but it's just like ultimately, I just think it's a fun kind of nice show. So I'm kind of bummed it's 1 to 3 hours again. It's unnecessary.
I mean, but linear television is not even linear television. People can watch it live. They can watch it in pieces. You know, I have a nephew who only watches WWE through YouTube. He's like, I watch 15 minutes, whatever they post up there, and that's what I watch.
And it's a different way to catch up. It is. It definitely is. Hey, if you're a man and you want to catch up on your testosterone a little bit, let's talk about our newest sponsor here at Rumor Innuendo. That is Mars. Yes.
Ooh, tell me about this product. I'm a man of a certain age. You can see some gray in my beard.
Yes. Well, and this is perfect too, because like, you know, you're getting at like, I'm a man of a certain age as well. I just turned 40 in June. So it's just like my body
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a day that you turned 40.
Believe it, Kev. My body is like kind of making its own changes. I'm feeling like a little bit, maybe not lethargic, but I definitely got to heat up the body to get things going, whether I'm going to the gym or going out to work.
Do you make the noise when you get up from a chair? Do you make this noise? Do you make the like noise?
Oh yeah. Definitely do that. Definitely do that.
When that happened, I was like, all right, I got to do something. So tell me about the product. What do we got?
Yes. So Mars Men, this is more like if you're like looking for TRT or something to that effect, this is a little different. These are some supplements that give you energy. They give you energy. They boost you up a little bit. They help you sleep too. So if you're having trouble sleeping too, this kind of balances things out for you. And you take a whole bunch. You got like take them for 90 days is what they recommend. But it's a really, really good product. The thing is too, I'm going to start taking it. My game plan here was to start taking it today and give people updates throughout the week and then some too of how it's been doing for me, because I'm a guy that goes to the gym. I like me and Kev, we're both men of a certain age. And if you're in that zone and you want to like take out a good look and see what Mars is all about, this is the product. You got to check it out. So without further ado, let's talk about it a little bit. Yes. For a limited time, our listeners get 60% off for life and 3 free gifts when you use Rumor at mengotomars.com. That's it. Rumor at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com, and use code Rumor at checkout. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Rumor and Innuendo, Robert Karpelis and I, and tell them that our show sent you. So check it out, guys.
What's that code one more time?
That code is Rumor, and you go to Mars, mengotomars.com. mengotomars.com. Ooh. I like the vibe. The aesthetic is very cool with this product too. So you'll notice too if you order it and you see it in when you get the packaging. I was like, oh, what is this? I was like, this is sweet.
Give me a look at that product. Give me a look at that product on camera. We've gone full infomercial.
We have gone full infomercial. Right
yeah, there we go.
It smells good too. I'm weird with smells and I like it. All right. Any other big takeaways from what you expect to see at Raw? Are you excited about here going on?
Well, I mean, for people who maybe are going to be catching some of us talking after Raw, I do think this is going to cement everything with Survivor Series. Every big match with Survivor Series. We're going to know exactly what's going on with War Games. Seems like we know what the men's team could be. Is Cena going to be in the match? I've heard a lot of people just assume Roman Reigns is in the match. Like that he's for sure. He's just got to be there, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't done that yet. They haven't tied up that knot. So maybe this is where Roman shows up at the show as well. So my thing is like then you're gonna have 3 gigantic returns or surprise appearances, on one show. So that could be pushing it. Maybe that's something you save for SmackDown. So right. I also think that's a possibility too.
Definitely. Do you foresee Lesnar showing up in this match as well?
I've heard some people bring that up, that he would join the Vision team. I know at Sportskeeda Wrestling, we kind of like theorized that into a video. Go check out the YouTube channel, by the way. We just dropped a couple big videos about how the Jey Uso thing isn't really clicking, but he's still getting a reaction. Like he's still an over character, but his story isn't working, which seems to be indicative of a couple of big names in WWE, at least this year. Yeah. The Cena heel turn. We love Cena, but we don't like this story, So I think that's kind of the same idea. And you can join the Boo Birds in the comments who just hate them. People who hate Jey Uso really don't like Jey Uso,
Oh yeah,
but that video's up. We talk
you
about
want to talk about
Obafemi as well.
tribalism? It's the Jey Uso lovers and the Jey Uso haters.
Yeah, it reminds me of like mid 2000s WWE, like with Cena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With
Like
Cena,
where
sure.
the new casual wrestling fan loves Jey Uso. The hardcore wrestling fan completely turned on the guy. But I'm also like, he's not like a new name. He's not like a new guy. He's not like a new guy. They're like you've seen this guy for like over 15, 16 years. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I think
but for me,
some of the issue with Jay is not necessarily his own volition. I think it's how WWE's kind of promoted him in certain lights because, his entrance is awesome. The Yeet thing obviously is good, but you kind of co-opted it quite a bit. Like you play his song again when he enters in the ring. On top of it, too, you have Michael Cole yeeting. Like, I don't think that sets it up for a real perfect. If Michael Cole's doing it, I'm going to yeet too. It's just, like you're kind of making.
If my dad's into it, it's not
I'm not
cool
going to be
anymore.
as into it.
Yeah.
If Kev or Dom
I get what you're going
it,
for.
I'm not going to be as into it.
Yeah, that's also a really ageist approach to anything. So I do think there's a lot of that in pop culture to begin with. The guy with gray in his beard talking about ageism. But yeah, so for me though, I do think this is a critical Raw. This is a Raw that if it doesn't nail some things, you're gonna have a lot of people saying, "Oh, what is this Survivor Series show?" Which is just, I mean, they're doing banger numbers on these big quarterly shows in different stadiums and stuff like that. So, a lot waited on this. A lot waited on this show. I just don't know if you can do two surprise returns and a Roman Reigns on one Raw. They got to move Roman to another show. So this will really set the table. If we get a Lesnar or we get a Roman on the show, you're going to get one on SmackDown or one on Raw next week. How do we have Survivor Series? Not this weekend, but the weekend after, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. It's definitely not. Yeah, because isn't it Thanksgiving weekend, or am I wrong on that?
It's going to be the weekend after Thanksgiving. Yeah, let me double check.
Right after Thanksgiving, so like that Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is.
I'm looking up the date here. Give me a minute.
I think it has to. Yeah, it has to be, Kev, because I don't think it's in December, is it? It's not in December.
No. It's November 29th, so it won't be this weekend.
There it is. It's Thanksgiving.
So weekend. Petco Park, San Diego, on the ESPN app. Some people are going to be angry about that. That's another story. But so for me, there's a lot that's going to be set here. I think we'll get the final members of those teams. So you have CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and both Usos going to be in there. So I think there's an interesting dynamic.
Yes.
And someone to be determined against the vision of Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre, who I think is a good fitting addition. One of those names, I think, either gets revealed tonight or we get the culmination of both of them being revealed next week on Raw. For the women and their War Games match, it's Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, and two more. One could be Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair comes out and does the match, but you don't find out until that night that she does it.
Yeah.
Versus Nia Jax, Lash Legend, who really gets the call up here, and the Kabuki Warriors with someone to be determined. I do think when you build these War Games matches, they're getting into the formula of how do we reveal those last few members of the team. And I always think there's something compelling when you have a member come out the night of, or at least finally convince somebody to do it.
I think that'd be neat. Robert predicted that this will be the split with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and they'll be both on opposite sides, which I think is an intriguing element.
Dude, Lyra's over. She worked the NXT show. Worked the NXT show. She was in a 6-woman tag. Woo! That's a big entrance now. And also, she really learned a lot and gained a lot, I think, from that Becky Lynch feud.
Absolutely.
And those were very underrated women's matches, by the way. Those are very clever, snug matches that played on some really technical things and like an interesting shiz finish. That was, so I appreciate that.
We'll close out with this, Kev. Another match on tap, speaking of Becky Lynch, is her defending that Intercontinental Championship against Maxine Dupree. This could be a star-making moment tonight. It's a big platform, obviously, to put somebody like Maxine Dupree on Madison Square Garden, Raw's, John Cena's final Raw, just a lot of different elements. So would you strike this iron here, maybe put the title 100%. On Maxine?
100%. I'm going to say this. Is Maxine Dupree someone who's very new to pro wrestling, punching above her weight? 100%. But guess what?
Great.
That's what makes it great. The idea is she is putting in a genuine effort, and you can see fans connecting with it.
Yes.
When this is long-term storytelling that I don't think fans are giving WWE's creative team credit for. They've had her in this position. I think Otis should be there with her. I think that would give it more oomph. He's a beloved figure by just casual and hardcore fans. He could really help her out. There's some fun stuff in here. And you have this outlandish, like, in her own hubris, Becky Lynch, who is also, by the way, Becky is trying to make Maxine. Becky is in that rarefied era where she's like, if I'm going to be a big star, I want to make other stars with me. Maxine, as a wrestler who has a handful of tricks she can do, but she's really passionate and just wants to get through. And she's nearly taken this title and beaten Becky on several different occasions. And it's a count out in a DQ. And I think the buildup, because it's culminated to this. People say, oh, some people are telling me, I've heard this, it's too predictable. Shut up with the it's too predictable. It's culmination.
Predictability is nice.
It's culmination. You knew the end of the Star Wars trilogy was Luke Skywalker's going to have a showdown with his dad again. Like, you knew, like, once he got his hand cut off, you knew he was going to come back for his father and kick his ass. And that's what you got. And you want to see this. And what better place to do it than Madison Square Garden? Also, I don't think you need payoffs of storylines in this age where we have so many different options for entertainment, for streaming, and we're paying for the streaming services. You got to give me payoffs of storylines now on television. This is why I keep telling people, like, hey, why are they doing these big pay-per-view matches on the SmackDown right before a pay-per-view? Because they have the roster depth and they have these big contracts. I think this is one of those things where they go to Netflix and say, look at the diversity we have. Look at us making a new star on your network. Look at us doing this on Monday Night Raw. You know, I think that Sami Zayn, his crew versus the MFTs, I think that'll be a Survivor Series tag team match on the Friday night before Survivor Series. And that's a great way to utilize all of those guys, give them a big match. But that doesn't is it less than? Yes. But I don't think it's like all the way down. You know what I mean? So also it's depth. You're playing on depth. And I think this is good. And also you're elevating somebody in the great process. I think this is it the best thing? No. But it will certainly be a special moment. If Maxine loses this, I think it does her less favors. It'll be harder to get her back in this position. This is a make or break moment for her, I think. I don't want to say make or break, but definitely a make. She can be made from this. This is a title makes the person. Yes.
You want to strike while the iron's hot, like you think about.
And even if she has the title for a little bit, even if she just has the title for a little bit.
This is such a distant, weird reference, but it's like when Ryback was so hot, they didn't strike that moment. And, you know, obviously Ryback's situation changed and whatever, but you could feel the crowd really wanting that to happen, and they didn't. And
also Becky Lynch is somebody that understood I was really, really hot, and then I got injured, and we couldn't have this big match with Ronda Rousey. You know, let's correct course. I think she is somebody that understands momentum. And I'm not saying that Maxine Dupree is the God's new gift to wrestling, but she's got people that watch every week that want to see her win. You know what I mean? And you gotta have. And if this is a show that's gonna be built on bad guys laying someone out, I think John Cena gets laid out on the show to tease something. You know, or I think he could lose the Intercontinental title. I think you're gonna have a lot of heels on top moments on this Monday Night Raw in one of your biggest markets in New York City. I think you need a fun, feel-good moment. Maxine Dupree beating the outlandish, pulling her hair out, Becky Lynch.
Yes.
And Becky Lynch is going to wallow like a pig in her own slop, putting her over too.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'm excited. Becky's she's one of my top 3 favorite wrestler right now is Becky Lynch.
It's my favorite women's storyline right now.
Absolutely.
In wrestling.
She's just
at least in WWE.
Kev, I don't know if this is going too far, but I would say it. I think she's, like, off the top of my head, she's probably the wrestler of the year for me. And just because of
Maxine Dupree?
No. Becky Lynch.
Okay. Yeah. I would put Maxine as the most improved.
Oh,
but also you know, she's been in the ring with great people. Does she have limitations? Obviously.
Sure, yeah.
But I think that's kind of the interesting thing. When you have so many really talented veteran talents, you got to, like, make someone new. And that's kind of organic. I think it's a modern way. Like, hey, this is somebody who's been around it and they really want to do it. And she's not just a pretty face, you know, like, and like highlight the gymnastics, highlight the flexibility, they're doing like some diva-esque things with her while she's also working. All right, grabbing a hold. All right, we're gonna do this. Getting mean, striking, firing up. Doing all that Memphis stuff. Come on, we're gonna sing and dance.
Kev's talk about singing and dancing. Plug any more stuff you got going on. What do you have happening?
I'm working on my upcoming comedy special. It was taped in August. It's gonna be called Kevin in Hell. If you follow me on Instagram at KevKellum6, I'm on Blue Sky as well. You can find me on there. I'm on Twitter. Not active on Twitter because Twitter's such a cesspool right now for Russian robots. And so definitely check me out there. And then watch what I'm doing with Sportskeeda Wrestling. You will hear me do those essays. We have the one about Jey Uso. We have one about issues with how things can go with Seth Rollins when he comes back to WWE. We just filmed some really cool stuff about the ups and downs of Chris Jericho in WWE and about Jon Moxley and how he has to reinvent himself. Jon Moxley tapped out on glass, and he really has to reinvent himself in AEW. That's all coming. Just search Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube. Go watch, subscribe, and also tell them in the comments that you came from Rumor and Innuendo, and I'll jump in there with you.
There we go. How about that? That?
Pull my camera down. Look at that. You just get to see my laundry hanging from the
I like the little green screen hanging. All right. That'll do it for us today. You can catch us every Monday through Friday here live.
I hope I didn't keep you too long.
No, you're okay. Adfreeshows.com, on Podcast Heat Wrestling, on Rumor and Innuendo YouTube, on the You Didn't Know YouTube channel as well. Plus,
You Didn't Know?
You Didn't Know. And plus at WCreative_ish. I'm not Robert Karpelis. And you can follow me at Dominic D'Angelo on X as well. But we'll see you tomorrow. Robert should be back by then, and we'll be talking a little bit of this Monday Night Raw and what went down exactly. So, Kev, thanks for tagging in unexpectedly. You're always a great guest, and we'll chat soon, all right? But
I love it. I can literally call it a run-in.
Yes, it was a run-in, right? You did. We did a run-in. So. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Best of luck in your future endeavors. And my New York Jets really, really suck. Okay, see you later.